All right. Hi, everyone. This is Danielle and friends, and we are going to talk about how to meal plan. And I'm going to go over some tracking information. And again, I'll apologize, just like the other night on my video. I don't know why at like about 8 o'clock every night I lose my voice. So I think it's because I scream at my kids all day, and I'm like, ah! But the first thing that I'm going to do is ask you guys to go to page, let's see, hopefully you did this when you did when I went over the video before, but just in case you hadn't, you're going to go to the page in your book that looks like this. It's page 4, and figure out your calorie target, because you can't really do much unless you've figured that out. So hopefully, Melissa, can you nod if you've figured yours out? And Jason's? Yeah. Okay. So that translates to page 19, where there are calorie brackets. And if this is a new program for you, basically you do your calculation, you get a calorie bracket, and it tells you how many containers you're going to eat. So that's how you're going to build your meal plan. I did this program once the very first time, and I used one of the ways that they give you to track are the sheets in the back that look like this. I personally was never successful with that. I don't know why. It just didn't. I guess I would just have a really super visual brain, and writing tick marks and numbers doesn't do anything for me. I have to be able to see exactly what I'm going to eat, because otherwise, if I give myself options, I make poor choices, especially when I'm time crunched or my kids are being crazy or whatever. I start grabbing things, and generally, even if they're more healthy choices, they don't align with the calorie brackets. And Autumn is very, very smart in the macros in the bodybuilding weight loss community as far as how to balance the carbs and the fruits and the vegetables and the proteins so that your body is burning fat optimally. So I'm going to screen share. Hopefully this works okay. And I'm going to go through a couple of different ways. First, I'm going to go through the way that I personally meal plan. And the meal plan that you're going to see tonight is going to be given to you. I'll give you 3 weeks of exact meal plans. And I am going to be using the 18 to, it's 1,800 to 2,099 calorie bracket, but I'm going to give you the Excel spreadsheet that I use so that you can go in and delete colors. If you're in a less bracket than that or a lower bracket than that, you would just, okay, so if it says for that bracket, you get 5 green containers, all you would do if you're going to download and print that is go to the Excel spreadsheet and delete one of the greens that you don't want to eat that day. And then magically you have 4. So it very customizable. It's not really magic, but that's math and Excel spreadsheets. So let me make sure here. Okay. So let's see, screen share. There we go. Okay. Alrighty. So hopefully you can see my screen and my Facebook, So let's see, the Excel spreadsheet that I use, I just pulled up a regular document, and I will tell you part of the reason I'm giving you this as a challenger of myself and my team is because I know how much work goes into this. I know how hard it is to create something from scratch. And, I just kind of sat down and sucked it up and just did it. But once you've done the first one, the rest of them get super easy to do. But I am going to give this to you. So this is how I do mine. I list my calorie bracket up here. I went through and color coded these cells and typed in the number that I would need to eat for that calorie bracket, Monday through Sunday. That's how I use my week. And then I label them week 1, week 2, week 3. So I put in my workout. I drink a pre-workout formula called E&E, so I always put that in there. Matt uses the Beachbody Performance line, so like I have his listed in the order that he would drink them. Breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner, snack. I am a chronic evening snacker, And so I know that about myself. And I know that if I don't build in an evening snack for myself, I start making poor choices and I go off the plan. The plan works. It works for me. It works for Autumn. It works for everyone who's ever done it. If you follow the plan, the kind of where it kind of gets off kilter is when you start kind of doing your own thing and you're like, oh, well, I'll just eat this over here and it'll be fine. I'll balance it out somewhere else. Well, it doesn't typically end up balancing out very well. So I download this, print this, or I don't download it, but I print it off and I magnet it onto my refrigerator. So that way, like today, for example, I'll be super transparent. I've had a really difficult time today not wanting to snack all day. I've eaten straight on my plan. I know what to eat, but I'm not even hungry. I just mindlessly snack. And, that's how I lived overweight my whole life. So it was important to me to gain structure and control over that. And this has allowed me to do that. So I drink my Shakeology in the morning for breakfast almost every morning. Saturdays, we typically sleep in a little later. And we kind of like to do a big breakfast Saturday. So I switched that to my morning snack. But Shakeology, if your goal is weight loss, and that's not everyone's goal, but I think most of the people in 21 Day Fix group for this, their goal is weight loss. So Shakeology should be used in that case as a meal replacement and not just a nutritional supplement, excuse me. So you need to replace an actual meal with it because you're replacing that meal's worth of calories with the calories from Shakeology plus whatever you're going to add. So Shakeology is always a red, unless it says that you're making it with some other liquid. These are all made with water. In the beginning, I kind of did a milk water mixture, orange juice water mixture, but I found that I don't enjoy giving up my yellow carbs because milk and juice fall into yellows. I don't enjoy giving those up. I kind of hoard them and call them my precious and like snack on my yellows. And so I don't waste them, if you want to call that, by drinking them most of the time. So my breakfast, I just start by when I built my very first one, and you guys are always welcome to build your own, or you can just take this Excel and build it for yourself. But I always put in my Shakeology. And I will tell you that the majority of the time I build mine one day at a time. The other way I structure mine, because it works really well for our family, is that I build my Monday dinner goes to my Tuesday lunch. Tuesday dinner, Wednesday lunch. We eat dinner at church every Wednesday, so that always, I just kind of leave that as kind of we generally have fish. We generally have a vegetable and rice. I don't take my containers. I eyeball it. If it looks like they dumped 3 cups of rice on my plate, I don't eat the 3 cups of rice. I just kind of eyeball it, and it doesn't have to be exact in every single meal. But as long as 99% of them are pretty exact, that's what you're looking for. So then the way I did this is on Wednesday afternoon, because Matt, we pack his lunch Wednesday night after church, I put something in the crock pot for Thursday lunch. So I almost always do a soup for Thursday lunch. And then I do a different dinner because Thursdays I'm home a lot during the day, so I can spend a little extra time in the kitchen. So again, Thursday lunch is Friday, Thursday dinner is Friday lunch, Friday dinner, Saturday lunch. Saturday, I always build in one day a week is leftover night. Like this week, our leftover night was supposed to be Saturday, but Matt's going to a men's retreat. So we had leftovers tonight because I won't be here for dinner tomorrow night. The women from our Sunday school class are all getting together. So I moved my leftover night and I got to take out one meal. And so I will just move those groceries to my next week's meal plan. But the nice thing about this is all you have to do is copy and paste it onto you can copy and paste anything. So we generally keep our breakfast and our morning snack and afternoon snack very similar every week. It makes it easy for grocery shopping and that sort of thing. So that's kind of how I have mine built. This is totally customizable for you. So you build it the way you want it. If you don't like cucumbers and they make you barf, don't put cucumbers in yours. Open the Excel spreadsheet and retype celery. I mean, well, if I can spell. There we go. So you just type whatever you want to type. I personally like a very wide variety of vegetables. I once had a challenger who did the 21-day fix, and she genuinely ate nothing else other than green beans. That's the only vegetable that she would eat. So all 5 of her vegetables during the day were green beans, which personally makes me want to barf, but, that's whatever. If that's the only vegetable you like, then eat yourself some green beans and go on. Like I said in the post before, there are things in here, the containers, that they aren't necessarily like asparagus, for example, says 10 large spears. You're not going to chop up your asparagus most likely. Artichoke, you're going to get half a large. Eggplant's a half a medium. So I try to keep my book in the kitchen with me. That's always helped me. Sorry, my computer is beeping. I hope you guys can't hear that super loud. But so this is what I do. And then I save it as week 1, and I open it again, relabel it week 2, save it as week 2. So I'm not saving over week 1 because I've done that a lot. And then I go through and don't delete the whole thing, but I can delete and I start another thing. So what I generally do with that is, so Sunday night's dinner, I do that. And I put that there and I start that way. So then I look at, and I go through and I'm like, okay. And when I go to double check myself, I go, okay, I have 2 greens, 1, 2, cauliflower is 1, carrots are 2. So that's 4. Part of my paleo burrito bowl is vegetables. So I label like the end of that green. So that's 5. Cilantro rice or cauliflower rice, that's 6. So that's too many. So I would just go in and delete the cauliflower, and now it's correct. I built 60 days worth of meal plans for our hammer and chisel group, and this is how I did it. So this is the system that I use. My system, I feel like, works really well for me in my brain, but that's not necessarily true for everyone else. I'll just go ahead and finish my whole system, and then I will kind of show you some other systems and ways to meal plan. So my next step, so I have my whole week here. My next step is I do my recipes. Let's see. Why are you doing? Okay, so I do my recipes. So I go through and I type out turkey paleo burrito bowl, beef and broccoli, Tuscan kale and bean soup. Like, I just type the tops of them out, and then I go and look in my recipe books and look at my Pinterest and look wherever I got those. And I just copy paste them. They're not perfect. They're kind of, all the formatting is different. I don't usually mess with the formatting too much when it's me for our family. When I did this for everyone else, tried to make it a little more consistent, but this is a rough thing. I print them off, staple them together, and I stick them in my kitchen. All of my recipes are all right there for the whole week. I'm not scrambling at dinner time to find the recipe that I need. That has been really helpful for me, and it helps me as far as meal prepping goes, because I can say, like, okay, on Sunday night when I am doing my meal prep or whatever, I'm like, okay, well, I have extra time. So I can go ahead. I know I need one head of cauliflower cut into florets. I just chop it up, put it in a bowl, and put it in the fridge. So I can kind of go through and meal prep these things, because some nights are really busy here. And so that has helped me. Like Tuscan kale and white bean soup, if you think that that's something you might want to make and freeze, make it and freeze it and pull it out on that night. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to spend hours and hours in the kitchen, because the way 21-day fix works and hammer and chisel and all of those other very structured meal planning kind of things, you are in the kitchen a lot more, because you kind of got, I don't want to sound tough lovey, but I guess in a way tough lovey. You got where you are by eating convenience and crap. I got where I was by eating convenience and crap. And so in order to make that shift, you do have to prepare whole foods. So I try to make it a little easier on myself. So I go through and I do all that. It probably takes me 15 minutes. I usually watch TV at nap time and do that. Then I open up a blank sheet. So then I just open up a new document and I go through and I copy and paste all of my ingredients, just like that. And I do them through all the recipes that I use. And then that's just what I do for that. So then I open, and I'm going to give you the recipes for the meal plans that I'm doing and the grocery list. So I created this a while back for a crock pot group that we did, and it worked really well for myself. And I'm like, why haven't I been doing this forever? I was always handwriting them out, and a lot of times I have to grocery shop with my kids, which is super frustrating for me because I always forget stuff and my list is all over the place. So then I downloaded this form where you can fill out okay, this is the produce section. These are the things that I need from the produce section. And that was all great. But if I'm doing all of my stuff on the computer, I was transferring all of my computer stuff to handwritten, which didn't make sense for me because why am I not just copying and pasting it? So I created this document, and basically all I do is, so if I need a head of cauliflower, I will delete this and I'll write one head, or copy and paste if you want to, but one head cauliflower, blah, 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 blah. Then, so I go through and then I delete all of the produce as I type them on this. I'm pointing at my computer like you can see it. As I type this stuff, I delete it from this list. And that helps keep me organized, so I'm not putting more of stuff on my shopping list. The other complaint, I guess you'd call it complaint, I don't know what you'd call it, critique about this lifestyle is that it costs a lot of money because you're buying a lot of ingredients. It's expensive. While yes, that can be true, there are ways to cut down. And one way that I found to cut down was stop buying stuff I already had in my house. I would go to the store and buy stuff off of an ingredient list from a recipe, and I already had it in my fridge. So I was wasting all this food. So now when I get all of these things together, and I will say, if you're industrious, do all 3 weeks and print them out, and then you don't have to do anything for 3 weeks. If at that point you're done and you're like, sweet, I want to keep doing this, you can either kind of go back through and do a new list on your own or recycle, excuse me, recycle those 3 weeks until you get tired of it, and then you are going to have to plan a little bit. But it's kind of nice to have everything all together because I feel like I think everyone in this group is women. As women and moms, we tend to get overtaxed in the stuff that we're doing. So I'm trying to make this as the least amount of work as possible. So anyways, this way, I will go to my kitchen and look at my stuff from the week before and say, okay, well, I don't need salt, cross it off. I don't need apple cider vinegar, cross it off. I go through my freezer before I go to the grocery store, before I go to the grocery store, before I do my bountiful baskets. I go through and I cross off everything I have. So I'm not going and buying another bag of frozen cherries. I feel like people waste a lot of food buying stuff they already have. And while I'm kind of on the shopping list and that sort of thing, I would definitely keep an eye out in your community for bountiful baskets. That's been really good for our family. It's semi-locally sourced. They do the best they can, but semi-locally sourced fresh fruit and vegetables, and you purchase a basket and you don't generally know everything that you are getting. And so you can, at that point, what I do, because it's an every other week sort of thing. So I will go through on my meal plan here and say, okay, well, I didn't get broccoli in my basket, but I got cauliflower. So I will go through and change some of the stuff to cauliflower so that I'm using the produce that I have. Another thing you might want to look at is a CSA with a local farm. Those are great ways to save money, support local farmers, and you're eating locally sourced food, which is always better for your body. The travel time isn't there. The nutrient loss because of chemicals being added to maintain, to preserve freshness aren't added. So that's another way. And again, so say like I don't have any beef in my freezer and my meal budget is getting like short or something because we had to buy, I don't know, like say birthday food for a birthday party or something, or potluck. So I'll go in and change that. Okay, well, I have chicken in my freezer, so it'll be chicken and broccoli instead of beef and broccoli. You don't have to stick with exactly what's on here. Like we got a deer this year, so I have a lot of deer built into my meal plan. Maybe you don't have a deer. Like that's okay. You don't have to eat deer meat. Don't go shopping for deer if you don't have deer. So that is the system that I use. Like I said, I feel like I'm talking kind of fast because I don't want to run out of time on our meeting, but that is the way that I do it. So I wanted to show you a couple other ways that people have used it because some people are not Excel people, and that's okay. You don't have to do it the way I do it. That's successful for me. And so that's what I use. The hammer and chisel workout that we started January the 4th, Autumn did the meal guide for that as well. So the meal system is exactly the same. The portions and stuff, or not portions, but I don't know, whatever these things, whatever you'd call that, like the numbers that you get are kind of different and they're spaced a little differently because a lot of the people in hammer and chisel are not attempting to lose weight. They're attempting to gain weight. So they're kind of differently moved or whatever. I don't know how you would call that. But anyway, so I'm just showing you another system. This is Erica. She created these cute little infographics on canva.com. She prints them off and puts them on her fridge every week. And she is she calls herself like a routine girl or something like that. Every Monday she has the same thing. Every Tuesday she has the same thing. Like sometimes maybe the vegetables will be different depending on what she has or what she doesn't have. But in general, she has the same thing. Always, her snacks are always the same thing. The consistency is really good for her. So she went through and printed this off and made them into like a little binder, and she flips through them or puts them on her fridge. Had people do really well with that. Sarah, I'll let you in just a second touch on your system here. But there was another couple here. Okay. So this is another type of tracker. Some people really like this. Like I look at this and I can't understand it at all. It looks very similar to the original trackers and I don't get it. So if this is your thing, go for it, right? Check off your thing, put a smiley face, put an X through them. I do like that hers has water on it. I don't do very well on that on my meal plan, but water is super important in this and any other eating habit, if you want to call it, meal planning, diet, changing your diet. It's not a diet, but it's important to realize that water is your life-giving source as far as cell construction in your body, and you need to be feeding that with water. So, this is a great way to track that. She has breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner. I guess you would just write in what you would be having. Like I said, this doesn't speak to me. It doesn't speak my love language, so it's not something that I would use personally. But if it speaks to your love language, I will have these up and you can print them out and go for it. One of the other girls in our group, let me see, how do I turn this? There we go. She used a dry erase board. So she made herself a little dry erase board and put this down there, and she just tallies it off when she's done. So we've kind of moved into tracking more than meal planning per se, but this is the way she does hers. And I think that's a great idea. Every day you can just kind of wipe it off. You can do that with a, what are those not pocket protectors, sheet protectors. You can put your meal plan in a sheet protector and check your color block off. The other thing is, and I really don't want to go through looking in my phone because it'll take me forever, but because I took a picture of the tracker, but I will show you on my phone the actual tracker if my phone doesn't die first. So Beachbody has an app. Yeah, I think you can kind of see that a little bit. Has an app, and you can do a tracker. I'll push that. let's see here. There you go. There's their tracker. Hopefully that's not too squabbly for you. But so you'd go through, and every time you had a green thing, you would click your little button and it would check it off, and it would tell you, okay, well, Danielle, you have 4 more green containers to eat today, or whatever. If your phone is kind of where you keep your stuff, go for it. It's a great tracker, and I'll type the name out, but it is called the 21-Day Fix. I think my thing just says 21-Day Fix. You can probably in your app store Google, or not Google, but search 21-Day Fix. Sarah, did you want me, or you want to unmute yourself and kind of go over the way you do yours really quick? Oh, hold on. Unmute. There you go.
Yay. Okay, so I'm the opposite end of the spectrum as far as all of these fancy computer graphics. I'm a mom of 2 small boys, so this is the stuff that I had available. I basically just did my meal plan. I'm the first bracket, so I colored it all out with my jumbo crayons so I can see exactly how many of each color I need. And then I actually write on notebook paper, this is how I meal plan. It's really messy. But I put all my Pinterest recipes up, and I pick what dinner I'm going to do, and I stick it on the bottom, and I plan it backwards. So I do dinner, and then I plan the rest of the day, and then I do the same thing Danielle does, where I take the dinner, and that's left over for the next day. The only time I don't do this is if the dinner has, like, one of my blue containers, like one of my cheeses. I tend to be a little, like, finicky with that. Sometimes I want cheese, like, every dinner, so it's one of those, like, maybe we'll wait and I'll have a leftover night and then we can do it then kind of thing. So it just depends on what it is. But usually dinner becomes lunch the next day. And then when I have it all done on the paper, I transfer to these cute little cards and I color with my crayons. I put a dot for whatever containers I've used next to that meal. And what this lets me do is if on the fly, because that's the way I am, like things happen, I'm able to look and say, okay, well, I can't do this right now, but I know these are the 2 containers I need to fill the slot, like right there. So then I just need to find something in my fridge or pantry that fits those 2 containers, put them in the little thingies, eat them, and I'm done. So I like this because I can improvise really quickly, but stay on track really easily. Like it doesn't mess up all the rest of my meals, like, because I'm only filling in that one slot. So that's it. It's not real pretty, but it works.
No, I think it's great to show that you and I are very, very opposite ends of the spectrum, but both of our systems work. The important thing is finding a system that works for you. And like I said, Excel speaks to my heart, so I use Excel. If colored crayons speak to your heart, like I think it's really cool that that's what you do, and I love the visual. So I think that's great. Melissa, I'm going to unmute you. We have about 9 minutes left. If you have any questions, I'd love for you to ask your questions so they can be recorded. Did you have any questions?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
That makes it easy. I know you've done this before, so it's not all brand new to you, but how do you track? How do you meal plan?
I've got to go to bedtime.
Okay, yeah. How do you like to meal plan, Melissa?
Oh, I I like pen and paper. I'm not big on technology, so I kind of go through and make a block on a piece of paper and just kind of go from there and look up recipes and then kind of figure out what I have left over and then fit it into snacks and go from there.
That's great. I mean, like I said, I think that it's just important that you find a system that works for you because, like I mentioned, my first time doing it, I used the little tracker in here in the back of the book. And I don't think that this is a bad tracker. I think that it works for people that this works for. But like I said, I know myself. I've been doing Beachbody programs and specifically 21-Day Fix meal planning for over 18 months. I know if I give myself an inch, I'm going to take a mile. I tried it today and I kept going back. And it's sad to me that even now in my brain, I still cannot flip that switch all the time and say like, no, Danielle, you had your blue container with cheese in it for lunch. Like you need to get over the fact that you might want more cheese now, but you can have more cheese tomorrow. The cheese is not going away forever. I blame it on the goat cheese. I used my blue container for goat cheese, and Melissa, you know my love for goat cheese, and
I love goat cheese too.
I know. And once my container was being used for it, I'm like, oh, I feel like I should use some more. But I didn't get to be overweight my whole life because I ate super great and worked out. So, obviously you have to make some changes if you want things to change. You cannot keep doing the same thing. It leads to the same results you've always gotten. So, well, I'll go ahead and end the meeting then so that I don't take up any more of your time, Melissa. I know that you have a busy night, but I do want to say thank you to everyone who gets to watch the video. I hope that you can glean things out of this. Please post your comments below. Oh, I guess I could stop screen sharing. Please post your comments below and let me know if there's anything that you have questions on. So, all right, well, let me know, Melissa, if you need anything.